And what of Corbin Kaufusi, who has made the transition from basketball now to football and worked his way onto the depth chart? Coaches have said he's ahead of where we expected him to be. We anticipate he'll see significant field time because he is on the two-deep depth chart. We
Running with the twos.
Yes. We are 2-on-1 with Corbin Kaufusi from practice.
One of these is not like the other because he plays Division I college football, and he also stands almost a foot taller than both Jeremy and myself. Corbin Kaufusi. Corbin, you're playing football now, and I think some people are still trying to get used to that. Do you feel like you've made the full mental transition?
There's still things I'm getting used to, but I love it. Every time I walk out, I'm like, wow, I really do love playing this sport. So it's fun out here.
That was the original plan, but you were an offensive lineman, so this isn't your first time out here. What's the difference between this time and when you first started playing football?
The difference is a little bit of weight, and I'd say because I was an offensive lineman, it's weird. I'm playing exactly opposite of what I was doing. And so now instead of having to protect the quarterback, now I'm trying to kill him. So it's a little bit more fun on the defensive side, I'd say.
Why is that?
Just because it's all instinctive. You can kind of be a wild man. You don't really, you can mess up, but as long as you go hard, you never really mess up.
And this fits into your mantra, wild man. You've always been the wild man, right?
I'd like to think of myself as a wild man, but we'll see.
How do you feel physically now that you've put on, I think you said 15 pounds, and you're being asked to do new things that you had to put off for a while?
At first, just the whole gaining of the weight it's always hard to kind of switch your diet and the way you work out and whatnot, but our team here is so great at getting things going that, everything's feeling pretty natural right now. Usually sometimes when you gain weight, it can be hard to get used to the body type, but I always like being thicker, so to say, and so it's been really nice.
What's it been like to gain that weight, and what were some of the things that you'd eat and your diet and whatnot?
I ate everything. I tried to stay pretty healthy, just a lot of sweet potatoes, rice, and chicken or something like that, and I remember I was trying to eat like 7,000 calories a day. And
Michael Phelps thinks that's a lot, dude.
It's a lot. Like, I remember just in class, at first my schoolmates were like, why is this guy was eating in class? And then they felt bad because they'd see my face because this was like meal 6 and I'm just pounding it at the end.
Like, are you nauseous when you have to eat a ton like that or anything?
Yeah, it loses its flavor after like the third meal of the day, and that's like noon, and so you're just kind of forcing it down.
Oh my God.
I think Taco Bell was the one that introduced 4th meal. Corbin Kaufusi.
The 4th meal.
6th meal. 7,000 calories. Okay, well, here we are. You're 4 days away, or I guess coming up on Saturday, however many days away that is. You take on Arizona in your first Division I collegiate football game. What kind of a role do you expect to play from the get-go for this BYU defense?
Right now I'm running with the twos, and I'm just whatever they need. If they need someone to go in there and either maybe disrupt the quarterback on maybe a third down, or if a guy goes down and they need someone to kind of rush a little bit, that's something I'm happy and ready to do. Whatever they need me to do, I'll do it. I think special teams with field goal blocks and stuff like that as well, PATs, do a little help there too.
What has Bronson said to you about playing on the football team and blocking kicks, because he led the country in blocked kicks?
He doesn't say much, He doesn't say, oh, there's a secret technique. He just always tells me he can't get more than me, and so it's the motivation, kind of the competition between us.
How much has he helped you in terms of advice and transitioning from basketball to football? Maybe what's the best bit of advice he has given to you in that regard?
He's helped a ton. Like, I would say he's probably the main person in helping me with this transition and kind of going through everything with me. And more than like a piece of advice, just him saying that I could do it was the biggest thing for me, because he knows, he's been here, he's tall, and so at first a lot of people had their doubts, and he's like, no, you can do this. And so that's been just the biggest help to me.
I'll tell you the advice. It'd be like, when a guy goes into the paint for a bucket, you just hammer him. Yeah. That's what he'd say, right? That was his advice.
He's too prideful about being the enforcer,
Against Kelly Olynyk, who plays for the Celtics.
Yeah.
How have you split your time during the summer and then in the fall, and then when will you get back into basketball?
In the summer, a lot of it was I do workouts with football in the morning, and then in the afternoon try and go get some shots up or play some pickup with the guys, but not trying to do too much because you don't want to overwork the body with that kind of stuff. And then as far as transition, I'll just be with the football team until the last game, and then once it ends, just switch right over for regular season basketball.
Is that after the bowl game or the end of the regular season?
I I'm pretty sure it's after the bowl game, but I'm not quite sure. I think when I get to that point, they'll let me know a little bit more, but just kind of playing it by ear.
In terms of assessing yourself and what you do, where do you feel like your biggest strength is as an individual football player, and what do you feel like you're working on the most to try and shore up?
I think one thing that's nice is about being around 6'10" is just length in general. You know, you don't have to be the heaviest guy or the strongest guy. As long as I use my length right, then I can do a lot more things than expected. And so that's probably a strength. And I think one thing that I'm working on a lot is using that strength, being able to use my length in all the right ways. Like, I can use it already, but there's a lot more technique that goes into using it. You know, a lot of people have to train themselves to use it.
Let's clear something up. On the basketball roster, you're 6'10". On the football roster, you're 6'9". You want to be shorter in football, I think, right? You don't want to be a 6'10" guy in football?
Hey,
So what are you?
That's I am flat-footed. Last time I measured, I was 6'9.5".
Flat-footed.
Yeah.
Okay.
No shoes.
Because some guys will like Jimmer was 6'2" with shoes on, right?
Yeah. So
So you're 6'11".
no, well, I'm not that guy.
See how defensive he got? You don't want to be tall in football.
I'm not that freaky, you know. So
You're freaky, but not that freaky. Yeah.
When you take on Arizona and you're dealing with two different quarterbacks, has your game plan defensively changed at all from what you're talking about as a defensive unit and what the coaches are telling you?
it hasn't changed too much. It's just making sure we're aware of their two styles. You know, one of them's more of a runner and stuff, and just making sure that we get the zone reads right because they play that a lot. And so, not too much change in the quarterbacks, but just being aware of it.
Is there a guy in the NFL that you watch that you go, okay, I want to pattern my game after him. He's a little taller. This kind of works for me.
Ooh.
Your brother?
Besides your brother?
That is a hard question because, in fact, my brother just sends me clips of guys every day, like different dudes in the NFL, and so I can't say I can choose one. I remember growing up, my dad would always be like, "Oh, you guys should be like Dwight Freeney," and so my brother and I always kind of idolized Dwight Freeney a little bit.
All right, Corbin. You get Arizona on Saturday. BYU football kicking off 6'10.5". Or
6'9.5", flat-footed. Okay.
Whatever it is. We'll find out what the official designation is on Saturday, right?
Right.
Thanks for the time, Corbin.
Hey, thank you very much.
Corbin Kaufusi. Man, and you just put it out on Twitter. We look like Sam and Frodo.
Interviewing Gandalf. Help us get to Mordor, Gandalf.
Well,